Thank you so much for tuning into the Healing Over Everything podcast. I am your host, T. And today we have the pleasure of having a guest. I wish she was in studio, but she's not. She is all the way in Detroit, Michigan. But she agreed to tell us a little bit about what it is that she does. So we're going to talk to her. So as we know, everybody has a healing story. The reason that they went through, or the thing when they go through physical, mental, emotional things and they need to find healing. She is actually a healing practitioner. She is a Reiki practitioner. She is an herbalist, and she is the owner. She's a spiritual coach as well. She's the owner of her own metaphysical store, and it's called Nature's Ambrosia. And I'm so happy to welcome onto the show Simi. Simi, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, T. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited that you're here, and I'm excited to talk about all of the things that you do because I'm really, really interested in all of them. So we're just going to jump right in. This is a safe space, so you don't have to feel any type of pressure. We're just going to talk, and it's going to be easy breezy. But first, I want to talk about what all you have a couple of different things that you do. So you're a spiritual life coach, a Reiki practitioner, and an herbalist. Tell me how you got started with each one of those things, or just collectively, how did you get into doing all of that?
Um, so I'll start with the spiritual life coaching. That's something I feel like pretty much came natural as I began to evolve as a person. I was always somebody who people would come to just like talk. So I always knew that like counseling in some sort was like my purpose here in this lifetime. But once I began to evolve as a person, it was okay, me now helping other people toward their own personal power so they can start their own healing. Not necessarily me like being the healer, but you know, me guiding other people to their own healing. And then the herbalism, I started studying herbs because I have my own medical issues that I was like trying to figure out and trying to do it like in a natural way.
Okay.
And so it was working for me. My dad had got sick and ended up in the hospital, some issues with his kidneys. And I had gave him some herbs and it was like working. And so I was like, oh, I think we got something here. And so I really had began like studying herbs from there. And then once it got to where I was like, all right, I think I can like do this and open up the business, healing people. I did get certified first. So I've been studying herbs for like 6 years now. So it's still a lot to know. It's still kind of hard actually saying herbalist because it's new for
Okay.
me in comparison to. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. And I still have like research to do. But so I started the business. I mainly sell herbs and candles. And the goal is to uh, really teach people about not only the medicinal benefits of herbs, but also the metaphysical benefits of herbs as well. And with the candles, I only use the natural products like beeswax. A lot of vegans don't like me for that, but whatever. Um, but beeswax is a natural air purifier. So I only use beeswax and I use essential oil for aromatherapy. And that's how I keep, it holistic. That's how it's like my healthy candles with the herbs. And then the Reiki really was kind of something also into leading people into their own healing power. So Reiki is energy healing, and I always knew that my presence or like my energy was healing to other people. So that's why people feel so safe or comfortable even talking to me about personal things. And so so then that's how I got into Reiki. And here I am now doing a business of all of them, Nature's Ambrosia.
Okay. So with the herbalist, you being an herbalist, for people that might be listening that maybe want to try herbs for the first time, maybe if they have specific issues, let's say with, I know a lot of people like my sister, she has high blood pressure, right? So for a person that came to you, first of all, how does it work? So do they come to you, they do a session, a consultation? How does it work as far as you working with people with herbs?
So when I work with people, a lot of time people already know what they're looking for when they come to me. But when
Okay.
they have questions, it really just depends because there's so many things that's involved in you telling me you have a symptom and then me just saying, "Oh, try this," because I need to know like what else could be wrong, or are you
Hmm.
pregnant, or are you taking medication right now? And sometimes the herb might work, but your body just might not agree with it. So it's like sometimes it's a trial and error and really finding what works for a person. But there's some general things, you know.
Yeah.
I have a tea for high blood pressure that is lemongrass, hibiscus, orange peel, and cardamom. That's one of the most general ones, unless somebody don't can't have the orange peel. But mostly, I don't have anybody coming back saying that they can't take that because they're kind of like light herbs and not super strong. So
Okay.
yeah, it just depends on the individual.
Got it. Got it.
Mhm.
So with the Reiki. So I've only had one Reiki session before in my life. When in like 2019, my daughter, she got me one for my birthday, and when I went in and actually had it done, it was like a whole experience. I was shocked because I didn't really know what to expect really, and so I went in, and the lady, she was getting me comfortable and everything, but after I left, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I had really had a whole experience. Like I felt so calm and at peace. And during the session, she told me which one of my chakras was blocked. She told me, which I knew because at the time I was going through a lot of grief with the loss of my son. She was like, "Your heart chakra is blocked." I was like, "I bet it is." um, but she read my aura color. It was just really a whole experience. And actually, what was so crazy about it is that she cried the entire session. And she was like, "I'm not an
Oh,
emotional person." She was like, but she was, because I was, it made me kind of nervous. Like, what is going on? Why is she crying? When she was
because
like,
that's your energy she was picking up on.
yeah, but it was just so amazing. But I left and I was like, wow, I had did my research to a certain extent, but really having it done, it really is like healing. Like I felt a release of grief and pain, and it was really good. So
Yeah.
to have somebody that like does it all the time. What kind of experiences have you had? Maybe with your own personal experience with Reiki, or just other people. Like, have you seen like really good results?
So my personal experiences, like getting Reiki done for me,
Hmm.
or for myself, I what made me like really, really know was I'm not really an emotional person either, but I was like heavy working on myself, like doing all the shadow work,
Hmm.
and there's parts of myself, like there's things I know I don't remember, and there's parts of myself that I'll be like, dang, why you react this way? Why are you triggered by
Hmm.
this? And I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so I really originally got Reiki done really just to see or whatever.
Right.
But
Right.
my very first one, I was just crying and I had no idea where it was coming from. And so I'm
Wow.
like, oh my God, where's all these emotions I
Yeah.
had pent up? But once it's over, and the same, they check the chakras and let you know like which ones are blocked and which ones are not. And
Mhm.
you feel like you can feel the release and you can feel
Yeah.
the person moving around like
Hmm.
around in your aura field. So you can just like feel it. And it's unexplainable, but to have a
Yeah.
session done and you'll know, but you feel so relaxed and
Hmm.
you feel so, like you said, at peace and like so calm when it's over. A lot of people fall asleep on the table sometimes. So
What's funny is when I was driving home, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Like I was so like calm, like oh, I need to pull over. It was crazy, but it really did.
yeah.
It really did do something to me and change. And I plan on having another one because it was so like such an amazing experience. But I think that anybody that's going through any type of healing journey, that they should incorporate that. Like no matter what it is,
I
because it really does do something amazing to you.
Yeah, and it's really like a deep, deep, super conscious healing, you know?
Mhm.
So like everything is made up of energy. And then Reiki is like the part of us that's still connected to the universe.
Yeah.
So that conscious energy is a healing energy and it flows like through the practitioner, through to the person. And so
Mhm.
it's really just going to go and heal and help release wherever it needs to be done at. So it's just going to do its own thing anyway. So, and because of it's the conscious energy, like it can't do harm to anybody. It's only for the greatest good, of all.
Right. So, okay, so let's say somebody came in who never ever had a session done, like a Reiki session done. So, what is it that they can expect? Because I know you can actually do like distance Reiki too, because you don't have to be in the same room with the person, right? Do you do that?
Right. I do this. This is Frankie.
Okay. So, if when you do it from a distance, like if you were doing it on me today, so what would I do? Would I just sit here and you sit there? How do you do a distance type of session?
Actually, with distance Reiki, the receiver doesn't have to do anything. You can be going about your regular day because it's all still just the energy, and you've given me permission to access your aura field. So
Okay.
once you give me that permission, there's just spiritual integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
once you
yeah.
give me permission, it really doesn't matter. So you can just go ahead and do what you want to do. Of course, the experience is different more in person
Yeah.
because if you're sitting still, then you'd be able most likely, even in a distance Reiki, if you're sitting still, you most likely will still feel it. But if you're going about your
Mhm.
regular day, then your awareness is somewhere else. But
Okay.
I can still perform the Reiki because it really doesn't affect, you won't notice the effects to the physical body right then. Only, it's the energy healing, and then the energy healing manifests itself into physical healing. So,
Right. Right. Okay. It's so funny when you talk about like energy healing because so years ago I found on YouTube where they have like frequency healing,
mm-hmm.
like and or frequency sounds, and I used to have the worst back pain ever, and I was willing to try anything, and I found on YouTube these like frequencies, and I just typed in back pain frequency, and when I tell you like within 2 minutes my back stopped hurting. I'm like, listen, this
Yeah, there's
we are all
solfeggio
energy, like,
frequencies.
yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
like, man, that really like that blew my mind. And I used to tell my daughter, like, anything that hurt on her, I'm like, you got a headache, go on there and type in headache.
But
Type
it's
in
true
headache.
though.
Yeah.
It's true. Every person that come and get Reiki, well, I used the universal love frequency when I mostly do the sessions, unless like the clients are working on something specific like the heart, any of the chakras, or they got grief or some type of emotional trauma, then I'll try to use one if I already know. But if not, I just use that universal one. But I tell everybody there's a list of things that I give to the new clients. So
Okay.
it's a list of the solfeggio frequencies, some breathing exercises that they can do on their own. And then I got a playlist to Londrell's. Um, Londrell?
Mm-mm.
He is an artist, but he is like a certified meditation somebody, but his music is super dope. And he
Okay.
has a whole playlist for each chakra, and the corresponding frequency. So I got a
Oh, nice.
QR code to his playlist on the things that I give. So they can do, their own healing work at home.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
them frequencies work.
They do.
And you
I
don't
mean,
have to do anything. You can just listen to
you
them while you
can.
sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Just and I
Mhm.
wish more people knew about the spiritual aspect of it, but you think about us as black people, you know what I mean, being raised in like
Yeah.
church. A lot of things
Yeah.
people think are demonic or oh, you're not supposed to do that but if you really tap into it and really like allow yourself to really kind of lean into it,
You'll
you will
see.
find some benefits cuz
Yeah.
like I said I did the Reiki, I do the frequencies, all of it like and if you combine them all together you will be all
Right.
right. Like,
Yeah.
you will be
Yeah.
okay. But yeah,
Because people
so
don't realize that every physical pain we have has manifested started in our energy first, in our energy field.
yeah,
So all the stress, all the negative energy, negative self-talk, like all of that matters. And then it build up in your body. The next thing you know, I don't know why my back hurt. I don't know why my knee hurt.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that was actually one of my next questions. Energetically, I was gonna ask you what your thoughts were about like trauma and physical pain and how it kind of manifests, but you answered that. But it is, and you think about people who have a lot of like headaches and you know what I mean? Like all of that
Hmm.
started from somewhere. It's not just I have a headache because of,
Yeah, because
whatever. It's like you really gotta think about it.
yeah. And like all of that stuff. like stress, it builds also acidity in your body. And
Mm-hmm.
so, which also creates, disease in the body.
Yeah.
So it's just all of it is connected, and you just have to take care of everything, like the entire body, and not just, the liver. And you take some medicine and then mess up your kidneys. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So,
exactly, exactly. You know they're gonna give you whatever the doctor give you is gonna mess up something else, and that's why
yeah.
I be
And
trying
then
to
you need
encourage
medicine for
people.
that.
Yeah, I be trying to encourage people like before you go the regular medicine route, just try these herbs because the doctor gonna give you something for your kidneys, like you said, and then your liver gonna be messed up, and then he gonna give you something from your liver, and then your spleen gonna fall out. It's always gonna be something crazy. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But a lot of time it's the discipline that people struggle with. So, okay, I'm gonna
Exactly.
take these herbs, but they want to take it like a pill. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
take it this one time and it's gonna work for the rest of the
Mm-mm.
day. And you don't work like
No,
that,
no, you
and
have
then
to
you
be
have to filter
consistent.
some of that other stuff out.
It
So
listen, people don't want to change anything.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? If you know you have issues with your kidneys, you can't drink a Coke every day.
See what I'm
You can't.
saying? But they want
Yeah.
comfort and growth don't belong together. So
They don't go together. But that's the
yeah,
thing. A lot of people. That's why when people say, "Oh, I really want to heal my," or I don't want to take this medicine the rest of my life. Okay, well, why do you drink a Coke every day? Are you girl? I gotta have my Coke. Well, which
okay.
one is
Well, you
it?
don't want to have your life.
Exactly, like you said, discipline. People are they lack discipline, and it's hard,
Yeah,
especially because we live in a society. It's like you get all you can get when you can get it. Like they don't, we don't
yeah.
have no boundaries really. So when somebody
Everybody's in
tells you,
survival mode. Let me take all I can right now.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. But then we got people like you that they can go to and hopefully really like do the work because it's really all about that. People think healing is like I hate to keep bringing up like a Christianity kind of standpoint, but they tell
But
you almost like it's immediate, like God gonna heal you and that's just gonna be it. No, it's a process, and you have to be
it's a
consistent.
yeah, and it's
Yeah, you
not
have to be
pretty.
consistent. It's not. It's
Oh
not. It's
man,
not.
it
You
is
gonna
not
jump
pretty.
up and I'm healed. No, baby, you about to snot all over the floor because it's gonna be it's a
Yeah,
process.
and it's no time frame either. Like
Yeah.
it can take years. It can take
Hmm.
years.
Yeah, and you got to be patient
Yeah,
with yourself because everybody want quick results. You like you said, with a herb, you might have to. Well, you may have to take it for the rest of your life, but more people are willing to, I think, take pills for the rest of their life than to drink
they
a
are.
tea or you know what I mean? We so kind
Yeah.
of we really programmed, and it's
Well,
like,
I
come on,
was just
baby.
getting ready to say that everybody's so stuck, and this is how I've been doing it for 40 years. Okay,
Yeah,
well, now you got 40 years worth of bad habits you have to unlearn. And
exactly. And
then,
40 years
and
of disease.
but yes,
Yeah.
but then people don't allow themselves grace either. Like you say, you have to give yourself some grace because, okay, I tried this, for 7 days and then I messed up this weekend. Okay, just
Hmm.
hop back on, and do it again. And people will
Yeah.
quit altogether. So
Yeah.
you just got to
Yeah.
stick with it.
You have to. You have to. So with your like the herbalism and like the Reiki, do you see a lot of clients coming back like consistently, or do you see them kind of one and done? Like, what's your experience?
Um, I would say it's like half and half a little bit. So I have people that I know are going to come no matter what. Sometimes every 2 weeks, sometimes every month.
Okay.
And I got some people who I just want to try it. Sometimes I do them at fairs. And when I get people who had like a small session at a fair come book a full session, then I'm like, oh, okay. Then they really
Yeah.
did, get something from it. But I would say it's like half and half for me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm super interested in herbalism because I actually took a couple classes here and there, but I don't feel
Mhm.
100% confident. But sometimes I find myself like I hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm having issues with this," and I'll be like, "Oh, try it." You know what I mean? It just kind of, I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even know I knew that." But I've
Uh-huh.
tried herbs with everything. Like I've tried, like I have eczema, and
Mhm.
I like it's not a herb, but I found this oil. It's sea buck something. Siberian sea buck oil, I believe it's called.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's a herb or not, but it's some oil. They may have got it from a herb. I don't know, but that helps my eczema. Even just using simple stuff like shea butters and things like that. And I find more help with those things than actually taking the pills and stuff that they try to give you. But I found so much success in herbs. So
I didn't know they
I'm a
gave out pills for eczema.
yeah, I was diagnosed with eczema as a baby, and I used to take pills when I was like 4 years old. I took
I
pills.
did
They were
not know
little
that.
purple pills. They tasted like candy. And I used to eat them. Yeah,
Wow.
I had it
Yeah,
really,
it's
really
just
bad.
shea butter alone. I mean, I guess everybody's skin can't take shea butter, but shea butter alone helps with eczema.
Yeah, yeah. Even cocoa butter sometimes, but yeah, I wish more people would try other things. You know what I mean? I really
And give
do.
it a real try, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be consistent. Be consistent. All right,
Mhm.
so I just want to ask a couple more questions because I want the people that's listening to really know, like, if they wanted to have a session with you, or they want to buy herbs from your website. We want to make sure we promote everything that you're doing. So the name of your it's a metaphysical store, correct?
Mhm.
So it's called Nature's Ambrosia, which I think that name is super cool. How did you come up with that name?
So I'm really heavy into like
Okay.
mythology. And ambrosia was was the food that was the gods would eat so that they can remain immortal. And so
Oh,
nature's ambrosia was herbs are the nature's food for life. So
nice.
that's how.
I
Mhm.
like that. Okay.
Thank you.
So, okay, so if somebody wanted to have a session, a Reiki session, either locally there in Detroit, because you practice in Detroit, or if they wanted to do a distance session, or maybe they wanted to purchase some herbs, they wanted to have you to be their spiritual life coach, whatever the case may be, how do they get in touch with you? How would they reach out to book a session?
So you can book a session on my website is www.naturesambrosia.com, or you can email me at naturesambrosia83@gmail.com. I do like one-on-one meditation sessions, manifestation coaching, the life coaching. If you're here in the Metro Detroit area, I life coach every Tuesday. Well, not every Tuesday. There's a group every Tuesday, and I run a group every third Tuesday. So it's in Southfield from 5:30 to 8:30, but that information is also on the website. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So with the life
Uh-oh.
coaching, we didn't touch on that. So
Oh.
when it comes to a life coach, because I really have my not reservations, but I don't really quite understand it. Like, so when does a person decide or come to know that they need a life coach? Like, how do you come to that conclusion? Because I don't understand it. So if you can, or what you do, like as a spiritual life coach, what is it that you actually do for your clients?
So to be 100% honest, all that I do is provide perspective to people.
Okay.
Like that's it. I let everybody make their own decisions, but you ask questions and not just tell people things that they want to hear. And I think a lot of people realize that they need to talk to somebody and sometimes they just don't do it or think that maybe it's like a sign of weakness. And how I came into it was really just the people around me first. Like I say, I'm usually everybody's like go-to person. So it was easy for me to fall into that. And then when it became like people on the street, it was to the point where I wouldn't even make eye contact with people because I'm like, oh, they about to start talking. So, but like I say, now, realizing that's like my purpose here in this lifetime, I
Yeah.
had to embrace that. But yeah, I feel like people always want somebody to talk to. They just don't want to feel shame or they don't want to feel judged for like not knowing something people feel like they should know. And once they feel safe enough to talk to somebody and talk to you specifically, it really kind of just go from there because people know what they need or sometimes they don't, but they know what they feel. And then it just
Right.
depends on where they are. And that's where we start. We start right there where you are and we just kind of go from there. So it's not like really a one size fit all like type of thing. It's just like, okay, so what are you looking for? And if you don't know, well, let's just talk about the reason you feel like you wanted to talk to me. And then we go
Right.
from there. And it's getting to the root of the problems. And sometimes we don't get to the root, but we can figure out where we can start to fix it at. So it just, everybody's different.
So is it, would you say it's very similar to a therapy session with like a mental health professional, or what's the difference between the two?
Um, I would say it's very similar. I would personally say it's very similar.
Okay.
Probably a licensed professional therapist that went to school might not agree. But I would
Okay.
say that it's very similar. But I also like being a spiritual life coach. Being a spiritual life coach, there's other aspects that is involved in healing, like the Reiki,
Right.
like the frequencies, the breathing
Right.
exercises. Like those are things that I'm not going to say a lot of people don't incorporate, but it's not a widely known thing. And so it's
Yeah.
just like all the time we don't want to talk about this, and every session you it's heavy and you crying. Let's just talk about ways that you can go to, or things that you can have like already in the stash. I'm starting to spiral right now, so Shalana told me to do this. All right, we gonna do the breathing exercises, or I tried this last time and it worked, or I
Yeah.
wasn't feeling anxiety when I tried it, but I was feeling relaxed. So now I'm feeling away. Let me try this breathing exercise really quick. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
just different ways outside of talking and crying a lot, you know?
A lot. I
Because
really,
sometimes that's how it be. And cries are necessary, wholeheartedly. But there's just so many parts of our bodies, like it's the physical body and the energy body that we have to heal. And then it's like the
yeah.
deep rooted things in our DNA and like generational things. Like it's so many things, and there's always things to work on. So it's just like where we gonna start at today, most times.
Right. That's it's interesting that you said that, because I think people think healing is like once you get it, you got it. It's really a lifetime process. You know what I
It
mean?
it never stops.
Yeah, it
It
never stops,
never
because
stops.
it's always going to be something. I always say we're the sum of everything that we've seen, heard, and experienced, and we always seeing, hearing, and
Hmm.
experiencing something. You know what I mean? So you
Very
might have
true.
healed from the stuff from your childhood, but what about when you was a teenager? Well, what about
Right.
yesterday? And what about
Right.
tomorrow? Like it's always going to be something. So I think if people really understand that, like you will honestly be healing for the rest of your life, and
And you
that's fine.
will.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine though. It's nothing saying that you're weak. You know what I mean? Or it's just like it's
But I,
life.
I
We
think
living.
that's how people see it,
Yeah,
like a
it's sad.
weakness.
It's not. We listen.
Yeah. Because
I
it's
would
more so
rather
like,
heal than be sick.
yes. And
Yeah,
when you actively are trying to heal, it's just like, now you're more aware. You're more aware of every little thing you do. And awareness bring about change. And,
it
you know,
does.
can't
It
have
does.
healing without change.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
This is a good conversation. But yeah, so it is because I mean, like I said, I started this healing over everything because I was healing. And I'm like, it's other people in the world, everybody in the world healing something.
Yeah.
Why not, create a space? And people say, "Oh, you got to create a safe space." You know what I mean? You hear that all the time, but like really, like cuz people don't always feel safe. They don't.
Yeah.
Because
They
maybe
don't.
they feel like they're the only ones going through it. Like, no, everybody going through something. Your thing might not
Yes.
be my thing, but we all got a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Everybody got a thing.
everybody. So I'm just like, whatever it is that you're healing from, don't be so, oh my God, I don't want to talk about it. Or oh my God, they're gonna look at me funny. Everybody going through something. You don't have to feel
Yeah.
like shame or guilt or whatever it is you thinking is going on in somebody else's mind. And regardless of what they think, at the end of the day, if I need to heal, think whatever you want to think on me. For real, like
Right.
I'm trying to do the work. That's all.
Well,
You
I,
know.
I love that you created this space, because at the end of the day, people do feel shame and guilt. And it's just like, okay, now we got that common ground, or I know that it's okay, or we're not going to be judged here. So I can go ahead,
Mhm.
and talk about it or whatever. So I'm glad that you did this.
Thank you. Thank you. And it took me a minute because I remember when my my son first passed away, and because I'm the type of person that I'm always trying to like, I don't know, be a superhero, like, woo, I'm gonna fly in and fix it. That, people thought immediately that I was gonna be like this advocate for um, mothers against drug driving. I'm like, I don't
Oh,
have it, baby. I need to cry, scream, kicking. You know what I mean? Like, people
yeah.
really was like, okay, what you gonna do with this? Cry. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cry. What the world?
Yeah.
But it took me a long, because I had to walk through the steps, and I'm not completely healed from it. I still have my triggers. You know what I'm saying? I might watch something
Mhm.
on TV and see a little black boy, and I just start crying. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
always gonna deal with the pain of it. But I got to a place where I was like, I could talk about it, and I could encourage people that's in the same space that I was in. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm a little bit further along
Mhm.
than I thought. So I'm like, okay, I'm not 100% healed, which I don't think I ever will be, but I can do something with this now. You know what I
Right.
mean? I can help
And
people
heal,
with this now.
yes. And healing doesn't even mean like being over it. It's just like it's okay to feel these feelings and tend into those feelings versus not wanting to feel it at all. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And even with that, when I talk to people that are in the process of like a healing journey, I tell them, feel all the feels.
Hmm.
Every emotion that comes at you, don't, because I used to try to suppress it, like, I'm trying to do everything I
Yeah.
can to push it back down. And I'm like, I came to the conclusion, like, I have to feel all the feels in order to release them and let them go and get to the
Hmm.
next stage, because it's all about just
Yeah.
moving from stage to stage. And I think, like, again, as Black people, we are taught to suppress. You know what I
Yes, we
mean?
are.
We don't talk about it. We act like it didn't happen. We avoid situations. So that's what I was doing. I was just pushing it down, but it ain't going nowhere. It's still there. You know what I mean?
And
Let
you
it
only
come
making
up. Come
yourself uncomfortable,
exactly, and then
creating
maybe
dis-ease.
that's what I was gonna say. Now I got cancer, or you know what I mean? Because you
Hmm.
pressing down and pressing down. So even I was like, okay, I just gotta release this, let it out, and you really do feel the release. Like you said, well, like
Yeah.
Reiki, like it's like it comes out and goes somewhere. I don't really care where it goes, but you feel the release of it, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
God is so amazing. Like, if we didn't limit Him to just be in a church building, you know what I mean? And like,
Hmm.
He's everywhere. He's so huge, and He created energy. He created
Yeah.
frequency. He created, you know what I mean? All this stuff that you say ain't God, He created it and is helping His people. So how can it be of Him? It just don't make sense.
Yeah. It don't make sense, but people, you know, fear what they don't know instead of taking time to understand it. Even if at the end of the day you still don't agree, you still need to take time to understand it, you know?
Yeah.
If you're gonna
But
judge it.
exactly, but why like limit God to be just one thing? You know what I mean? Like, even when I know, when I talk to people, and sometimes I say God, universe, source, you know what I mean? It just, He's
Hmm.
everything, you know what I mean? And they like, universe, source. I'm like, God is the biggest thing there is, right? So how can we just limit Him to just being, He's huge. Well, not even He, you know what I mean? Because God is spirit.
Right,
But
right.
it's just like, come on, if He created the universe, you think He can't be the universe? It's
Well,
like,
that's yeah. That's what I never I have to be mindful sometimes of like the audience because I used to do the same thing, like use those words interchangeably. And I'm like, all right, so in order for them to hear what I'm saying, I got to say God this time. But God is universe, the source creator. Like it all is the same
everything,
thing.
all of it is all
Yeah.
encompassing. And He created, people that have gifts. And I believe what you have is a gift. You know what I mean? And like you said, you had to come to the realization, like, that this is just what my purpose is on earth. You know what I mean? Like, people
Hmm.
come and tell me stuff for a reason. And that you took that and actually made it a part of your whole lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I need to do to become a life coach and follow my purpose. People used to tell me that a lot. Oh, you should be a A life coach, and maybe you can help me with this, because the way that I see it, when people say life coach, I'm like, I don't want to be responsible for someone's success or failure. So I kind of be like, nope, that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm not gonna be responsible for nothing.
Now, I definitely think you can be a life coach, but I do understand that. But like I say, you really don't, you're just making people do their own work. But these are questions people don't ask themselves. You know what I mean? So you're not really giving advice or saying, oh, you should do this. Like you run the plays, but they still got to do the work like a coach on a basketball field. Like these are the plays that I know work. We gonna try them out. You still got the person still got to do it though. So you're not really
Yeah.
responsible. You just like a guide.
Yeah, I don't know.
To be honest, I don't really care for the term life coach either. I usually like on my business card I say spiritual alignment because it just
Okay,
sounds
I
so.
like
I don't know.
that.
I'm not that person. You know what I'm saying? For real. I just
Yeah.
yeah
But yeah, spiritual alignment. I like it. I like
yeah.
it. Cause maybe because coach just, it's like
It,
my life is in shambles and you want me to fix your life. You know
For
what
real.
I
Like,
mean?
yeah, if you I'm still working too now. I can't be your
Yeah,
coach because I don't have it all together myself.
yeah. But I really would consider having a life coach. I just didn't really understand what that entailed. So I'm glad you
Mhm.
explained it, because I'm thinking like, what are they gonna do? And that's
Yeah.
what the listeners might think, like, why would I need a life coach? But
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, sometimes you need somebody to listen and give you a different perspective.
Mhm.
So yeah, I appreciate you clearing that up, because I, for years, I'm like, I think Ayanna Van Zandt, I love her. I'm like, is she a life coach? I don't know what she is, but she's pretty good.
But kind of, but I guess she got to be like that for TV because she has some really good like techniques. But whoo, she is dramatic sometimes. She be like, "Get on the floor."
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like she's dramatic too. Cause I do. I feel like I would be like, all right, now let's take it off and breathe it out. I don't know. I just,
Well, some people
I
do
just,
need that though. Some people do need that. But I think I would consider her that, in terms of what people call a life coach,
yeah.
mentor, somebody help you to your
People,
own healing.
yeah, I think she's really good at what she does. Because some of the stuff she says, it sounds harsh sometimes, but sometimes you got to be a little harsh.
Yeah, some people need to hear things that way.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I don't want to, because we could talk for
I
hours.
know, right?
We can talk for hours. All right. So when it comes to the Reiki, I want to get back to that. We know that they can have a distance session if they want to have a distance session with you. And we know that, they can kind of go about their day and do it. But let's say they're local to the city of Detroit. Um, what's the process? I know you said that they can book on your website, but what can they expect if they did an in-house session of Reiki with you?
So when they come in, I take notes this with distance and locally. So I will let them know pretty much what to expect. So this is the spiel for the most part. We're gonna do a quick little grounding exercise. I have them breathe with me. I do the grounding process. Um, let them know that I'm gonna check the chakras, then do the biosense scan, and that's me going through the whole body. So I check the chakras, see which ones are blocked or not,
Okay.
overactive or
Now, how are we checking the chakras, or is this
oh, right, because
go
I
into
want
the?
to. You want to be able to see it, visualize. Okay, so the person's laying on a massage table,
Okay.
and I let them know I don't touch you unless it's okay, but I will touch like the ankle so that I can do the grounding exercise. So
Okay.
when I check your chakras, I have a pendulum, and the pendulum will let me know like if it doesn't move, it's completely blocked. If it only
Mhm.
move a little bit, it's underactive. But if it move too much, like big circle, it is overactive, which is
Okay.
also a thing. So my job is to unblock and align them. And so I'll check the chakras. Usually in those moments when I'm checking them, and I'll note on my paper like what I got out of each one, if it's blocked or not. So when I go and I start performing a Reiki on your chakras, in those moments I ask, source, is there any messages, for this person? Either
Hmm.
sometimes I get some, sometimes I don't. And then
Okay.
once I finish that, if there are messages, I go ahead and write them down. So I let people know, like, you might notice me writing, but it's just me taking notes, and then we'll talk about it at the end. And so then I'll do the biosyn scan, go through the body, left side, right side, if I notice any stagnant energy, and then I do whatever work needs to be done there. Sometimes
Now,
people already
not to
know.
stop you. What is the biotin scan? What
The
does that
biosyn scan is just going over the body. So I'll like hover. Can you see my hands? I'll like hover
Yes.
my hands over
Okay.
your energy field. And
Okay.
then usually, like, let's say you have pain in your right shoulder. Sometimes that might not be where I feel like the stagnant energy at. So I can be like over on the left side of your body working, like doing the scan or doing like the Reiki symbols that we do. That's how the energy flow. And then
Mhm.
you feel it on the other side of your body. So, and then people will use the term like Reiki flows wherever it needs to, when
Mm.
really the energy is being released and you feel it over here now. You know what I mean? Because at
Okay.
first it wasn't flowing through your body like in the
Okay.
circular motion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's really kind of how it works. So I do the body scan, and where I feel like, let's say you have pain in your hip, like sometimes you can feel the warmth from my hands, even though I'm not touching you. Sometimes people feel, I don't know how to explain it, but they always do like this. But I know the feeling, so it feel like your energy swirling around, like around you,
Okay.
like you feel that. Some people will feel that, and some people are just super relaxed and they go to sleep. So while I'm going through the body, I'll do that, and then I go back and check the chakras, and they all should be aligned. And if they're not, then I'll just do the chakras again until they are all the same, and then that's pretty much it. And if I got any messages, I'll give them to you. And if not, then that's it. I ask the clients how they feel or if they felt or saw anything. People will say like sometimes they saw like colors moving around.
Hmm. Hmm.
Some people will have like whole visions. Sometimes I'll have messages from like loved ones for them, or like
Okay.
things that I'll just hear. Like the last guy I did, he was very intuitive. He had a lot of thoughts, but he didn't have a lot of follow through. And it was like
Hmm.
quick doubting yourself type of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And how long are the sessions, or does it? Is it like different
It's different
categories?
because everybody doesn't need the same thing. So let's say you got a lot of, I don't know, pain or something in the body, and it's just more time that I have to take on making sure the energy is at an even flow. So
Okay.
I'll, mostly do like a 45-minute session because that can be standard, but it can be less than that and it can be more than that.
Have you ever had a session where everybody? Well, you probably have, where all of the chakras were already, they weren't blocked in any way. Has that
I
been?
haven't actually.
You haven't? Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay. So we all screwed up. No.
Because it's almost like a thing that we constantly have to work on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
hoping if I go again, the lady will be like, "Oh, you're clear, girl. You're good." I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's so interesting. It's so interesting. I really do want to have another one because it, like I said, it was an experience. Like, and even if like I don't get any like particular message or anything, just the way that I felt afterwards, I would love to feel that again. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
really was good.
I'm
Um,
even still like blown away sometimes, and like the reactions or even like things I feel when I get Reiki done. Like I'm just still always amazed. Like, okay, yep, I needed that.
yeah, it's so crazy too the way that like I came to do all of this stuff because none of this was even part of my thinking process, right? Like none of it. I grew up in church, thinking that everything was the devil, but I was always very intuitive. In church they say you have you're a prophet, you know what I mean? People used
Yeah.
to tell me that all the time because I used to just see stuff, know stuff, like physically see. um but it's so amazing that, and I feel like, and this may sound weird to you, I don't know if it does or not, but I feel like after my son passed away, that I actually learned how to use my gifts more. Like I knew how to use them, but like after him, it was like it all made sense. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
I always say my kids gave me my gifts like the birth of my children gave me my gifts, because I feel like that's when I got them, when I had my children. But the death of my son really showed me how to use my gifts. And it's so crazy. I don't even know what that is. Um, but just like the little breadcrumbs that led me to this place is so
Yeah.
crazy. It's so crazy. It's amazing.
And I feel like, and obviously, I don't want to say this, I guess, surrounding the situation, but everything happens in alignment, and that
Mhm.
situation happened, with your son, but here you
Yeah,
are
yeah. You
using
know
your
what's
gifts.
crazy? You know what's crazy is I actually went to what would they be, a medium, because I was just, when somebody passes away before their time, it's like you always want those final messages, like what do they want to tell me, something, so I went to a medium, and she actually told me, she was like, my son's name was Elijah, so she said Elijah actually had no karmic debt here. He had no
Wow.
karmic debt to fulfill here. And that gave me so much peace, because I'm like, he chose me as his mom. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I think he came here to teach me what
For
he
that
needed.
purpose.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to get emotional, but yeah, it's like,
It's okay.
I feel like he did what he was supposed to do to get me where I need to be right now. You know what I mean? But that just was
Yeah.
so amazing to me. I was like, he really had no reason to even come to earth, but to do what he needed to do for me, and you know what I mean. And then I hear all these
Yeah.
stories about people saying how he helped them, you know what I mean. But I was like, that was so great. So like, I feel like the gifts, maybe I would have never used them if he wouldn't have passed away. I don't know to my
Yeah.
full
And this
capacity. Yeah.
and this have you ever had a like a natal chart reading?
No, and because the reason I haven't, and now I'm crying, so give me a break.
I'm sorry.
um, I don't know. I think you have to have the time you were born, right? Is that how it goes?
Hmm.
You have to know the time you were
Yeah.
born, and I don't know the time I was born, because I can't find my birth certificate. So I want one done, but I don't
Um,
know the time on my birth. Yeah,
dang.
I know. I know. People
Yeah.
have asked me that before, and I'm like, I don't know what time I was born. And I'm so old,
Also,
people probably got to go to heaven to get the dang on birth
girl,
certificate.
I had a natal chart reading done, and so I used to really kind of be on the fence about that. Like I always, I mean, how people feel about like astrology and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
while on a general scale of astrology, you can't just go by that. But when you like really get into like your specific natal chart,
Hmm.
shit is accurate in my experience, and a
That's what
lot of
I
other people's
hear.
experience that I know. I mean, accurate. I mean, accurate. Okay. And so I tell people all the time, like, if you get a natal chart reading by somebody who really know how to read the natal chart, like, you will definitely change your opinion on how true it could be. But I did I got a natal chart reading done. I got a past life regression
I
thing
want to do
done
that. Ooh, I want to do that.
with, and that's the same guy that did the natal chart reading. That past life thing was something different. I have to tell you about that probably a different day. But but everything in my natal chart was everything where I am right now. Like basically like those what I'm doing now is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I feel like I knew that, but I had been running from it for so long.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know.
Disobedient. Yeah. No, because it really,
Yeah.
it takes a lot to, and I say that, but no one, I don't really believe it. I was gonna say it takes a lot to say yes, because you now have to be accountable and actually do it.
Hmm.
So sometimes it's like, I don't really want to be accountable for that right now. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, that's true.
the sooner though that you say yes and do what it is that you're supposed to do, you have so much peace and everything makes sense. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Because the
for
minute
years
you
I was just
resist,
like,
you're not in alignment anymore.
but at one point in my
Yeah.
life, I was like, I don't need to be aligned. No, no, but
Same.
yeah,
Same.
yeah. But this has been really, really good. Really, really good. And I hope that the people listening, they understand that there are other options when it comes to healing, right? Like, if no matter what your journey is, if it's physical, if it's mental, if it's emotional, that you have other options. You don't have to go to the traditional route, right? You don't have to do like traditional medicine or traditional therapy. There are other options out there. Like you said, you have the frequency healing, you have Reiki, you have herbalism. Like, there's so many options to get to your expected end of being healed, right? So I appreciate people like you
Yeah.
who offer services and you do it with no judgment, right? It's like, I just want to help, it's
Yeah.
you being a servant, really.
And it's one of those things like with the frequencies, the Reiki, the breathing technique, breathing exercises is really, really important. But like those things are things where it doesn't have to be something specific. You
Mm-hmm.
be feeling depressed sometimes or winter depression, stuff like that. Those things that these types of things help you no matter what. It doesn't have to be, oh, well, this healing modality don't really help me with grief or it don't help me with my self-esteem. But these
Mm-hmm.
things help no matter what.
Yeah, they do. They do. So I
Mhm.
hope more people will use them as an option, right? Like, really
Yeah.
kind of lean into it. And I think a lot of people are kind of getting out of the traditional mindset of God gonna send me to hell if I do X, Y, or Z. You know what I'm saying? No,
Yeah.
seriously. But to really say, if God who he say he is, that he's going to provide options to get you where you need to be. It's just not a one and done. You know what I mean? Like, if you
Exactly.
you have to heal this way, like, no, I'm giving you so many options, and whichever one works for you. Now, if traditional medicine work for you, then do it. But if it
Hmm.
doesn't work for you, know that you have other options, right?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I hope that this show helps the people that are really on the journey and the path to know it's other things available. It's other things available. So I appreciate you for being on the show. Everything has been really enlightening, and it lets me know that, like I said, there's people out there that's willing
Yes.
to
Yes.
be
Same.
a resource, right? You are a resource. So I hope people will use, you, and that they will go onto your website and that they'll come and maybe purchase some herbs from your store. Again, it's
Thank you
called
for having
Nature's
me.
Ambrosia, and this is Simi. And again, we appreciate her for being here. But like always, we end every show with an affirmation. And today's affirmation is, I release the pain of the past and I commit to consistently choosing me. Thank you for tuning in to the Healing Over Everything podcast. My name is T. You all have a good day.